Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. A player ratings video. I've decided to do a player ratings video about yesterday's game. Now usually this is for the patrons, and Gonzo done one for the patrons yesterday, but I had to scoot after doing the review, so I thought I would do one anyway on this channel to give you guys a little insight what you can get if you join our patron service. Don't do it today though, don't do it today. Tomorrow's the 1st of the month and that's the best time to become a supporter of Hammers Chat. If you want to find out more, the link is in the description. Go to patreon.com/Hammers Chat to support the channel from £3.60 per month and unlock the player rating series. Right, let's get into it. Start with the goalkeeper, Darren Randall. I'm gonna give him a 5, and I realise that sounds very harsh because we conceded 2 against Man City. It's not the hardest thing. It's not that big a deal. But I still think for the first goal, he should have come and got that. That's when the ball lands in a 6-yarder, particularly from a cross from the touchline, 25 yards out from the goal line or something like that. That should be the keeper's ball any day, but he doesn't. He's very static. He just stays there and allows Diaz to come running in and get it. His distribution's never been the greatest either, and I don't think he had that much to do, believe it or not. I think our defence did that well. The City didn't really test Darren Randall, so maybe I'm getting off to a low scoring start, maybe a bit harsh, but I'm going to give him a 5. Issa Diop, I'm going to give him a 7. I think he's been looking really good since he's come back in. He was sort of lucky De Bruyne stayed on his feet at one point because that was a yellow card all day long, but that's the right thing to do sometimes. Sometimes you just got to take your player out and get the yellow card and give the free kick on halfway line. De Bruyne skipped past him. Bar that and, the big chance at the end that he could have done a little bit better with. I thought he had a really solid game up against, Torres and Aguero in there as well. But he managed fine, no problems at all. And like I said, Randolph didn't have much to do because of the 3/5 in front of him. And then comes on to Craig Dawson. I'm going to give him an 8 just because I always think he does, over the last few games, he just does slightly better than the other two. He's always a threat going forward. Was unlucky not to get a better connection with the header from the corner in the second half as well. But I just feel calm with him. Every time the cross came in, Dawson was there heading it away, apart from the one that Randolph should have come and got. But what a signing he's been. I don't mind getting things wrong at all, especially when it's like, what I do mind getting wrong is when I think a player will be good and he's rubbish. But when I think a player's going to be rubbish and he's good, like I did with Craig Dawson, I'll get it wrong any day of the week. Aaron Creswell, give a 7. I thought he struggles a little bit. When he's got Ben Johnson left wing back, I think he struggles to get forward quite a bit. When he was there with Masuaku, when Masuaku played ahead of him, they had a really good partnership. Often Creswell would run outside Masuaku, or he'd almost run, in front of Masuaku, just a couple of yards inside, a bit like what Sheffield United did with Jack O'Connell. It takes up that lane of traffic, it pulls Masuaku's man away or gives him the pass. It doesn't seem to be as adventurous with Ben Johnson. Now, whether that's because he's been told to stay back and to help Johnson, or it's just they don't have the partnership or something, but I saw a couple of times he did make the run against City. He wasn't found, Johnson didn't find him. I don't think it helps Johnson being naturally right-footed because then it's difficult to curl the ball in behind the right back, so to speak. And so, but solid from Aaron. His biggest weakness is his height when it comes to defending. City were never going to expose that, so that wasn't too much of an issue. Good, solid performance from Aaron Creswell. Soufal. Now here we go. This is where the big boy comes out. A big fat 9 for him. To be fair, actually no. I'm tempted to give him a 10, but I'll stick with a 9. He got his hockey assist as well for the goal. Arguably, it could have been the assist if it had Lingard made a better connection with it. It's a difficult thing to do, but fantastic run, good pick out of Jesse Lingard. But defensively, he was just a monster, wasn't he? Intercepting everything. Torres is standing there time and time again, waiting for the pass to come to his feet. The ball would be just within half a yard of him. Soufal would go in there and nick it off him. He was just superb. That was his best performance in a West Ham shirt. And every game that passes, you start to think, this guy's going to win Hammer of the Year. He's firmly in contention for it. A few more of those performances, I think he might just get it as well. He might just nick it off his Czech Republican teammate. Ben Johnson, this is a hard one. I feel a bit bad doing this. When I've given Randolph a 5, I feel like I should give Johnson a 5, but I always say context is important. I know he's 21 years old, but I'll give him a 6 because Mahrez is just such a hard player to play against. He got done a couple of times by him. Once led to the goal, the second goal. Johnson's a yard and a half, 2 yards behind the line of defence. I don't think that necessarily contributes to it because Mahrez is in line with the other defenders of West Ham. But, he runs at him, a couple of step overs, cuts inside and plays it into the box. But he's not really done anything wrong if you look at it. His positioning's okay, he's goal side, he's retreating so Mahrez can't skin him kind of thing. And he's sort of then relying on to make sure that Mahrez can't just pass to someone in the box. But John Stones is there unmarked. So I'll give Ben Johnson a 6. But like I said in the review yesterday, he will learn a lot from that game, Ben Johnson. You have to allow your youngsters to do that. You've got to allow them to make mistakes. You've got to allow them to come up against better opponents, because you don't learn anything from easy games. If you come up against someone that you're better than every week, it's a bit, there's no education in there. And I think Ben Johnson certainly taught a lesson at the Etihad. But I thought he was solid throughout. I saw some good tackles from him, tried to get forward quite well. His passing was a little bit iffy, but we've got to give this kid time. We've got to give him time. Thomas Souček, I'll give a 7. Decent enough, I think, is what I would describe that performance as. He got about the pitch well. It was a difficult game for him to impose himself on. It's going to be difficult for a centre midfielder when your team's probably got about 25% of the ball. You're not going to see much of the possession. So it's mainly about keeping your shape, keeping your discipline, trying to block the channels out. And it becomes a little bit easier when we sat back as much as we did, because we had to sit back at times and allow City to play in front of our midfield. But a decent performance from him. I'll give Rice an 8. I don't think he was largely better than Souček, but I thought he didn't look out of place at the Etihad. When you look at the Man City midfield and you look at Declan Rice, you felt he could go and put on a shirt that I'm wearing, and it's almost like I've got a Man City shirt on. This was not planned. This was an unfortunate accident, if you like. We've seen a few of those in my time, but I've got an unfortunate accident with this City shirt, the theme I've got on. Declan Rice could have went and put a Man City shirt on and not looked out of place in that team. His tackling, his interceptions, his reading of the game, he tries to get forward well, his passes getting better every game. What a player he is, and I thought he had a really, really solid performance, and if Pep admired him before yesterday, he'll admire him even more at the full-time whistle as well. Pablo Fornals, I'm going to give a 9. I thought that was arguably his best performance in a West Ham shirt as well. He done everything bar score. That pass to Soufal for our goal was fantastic. I thought he was breaking up a lot of play. I thought he was getting forward really well. Some clever touches, good passing, always available for Lingard and that. We've been wanting to see him in the middle for a long time now. That's 2 performances. He's been in the middle up against Spurs and Man City. Tottenham, I thought he was a 7 out of 10 or something. It wasn't anything overwhelmingly fantastic, but he was solid. And yesterday against City, I thought he was brilliant in that role. He's starting to make that role, because I don't think it's a number 10 role. On paper, he plays behind the strikers, but I don't think it's quite like that. He sits deep, he's in there helping out Rice and Souček, but he's also get up the pitch a little bit as well. And it's almost becoming a role moulded just for Pablo Fornals, and it's working. It really is. I'm excited to see more of Fornals playing in that position, that system that he had yesterday. That leaves 2 other players. Jesse Lingard gave 7, a quietish game for him. It looked dangerous when he turned around at the City defence. A couple of times him and Antonio weren't quite on the same wavelength, but I think you only noticed that because you only get a handful of opportunities to do something against teams like City due to lack of the ball. But against Leeds, we'll see a lot more opportunity for Jesse Lingard linking up with the other players, and I think we'll see a better, more influential Jesse Lingard. We've probably seen more defensive contributions from Jesse yesterday than attacking ones, but every time he went forward, he still had about 4 or 5 shots on goal against City. He went forward, he's looking to get that goal away. He posed a constant goal threat. I thought he tired 15-20 minutes till the end. I thought he could have been subbed off for fresher legs inside Benrahma or Manuel Lanzini perhaps, but a decent performance without doing anything overly exciting. Now that leaves Michail Antonio. I'm going to give him an 8. Got his goal. It was a striker's goal a couple of weeks ago, and here I said that I think Antonio, often we've said we don't have a recognised striker, and I said that I feel Antonio should be considered a recognised striker now. His goal scoring record's up there with anyone else in the Premier League recently, going to this season, the end of last season, wherever you want to take your parameters. He fits it. He's ticking the boxes as a Premier League striker. Since then, he went on a bit of a goal drought, was injured, a couple of poor games. I thought, oh God, I don't have to look silly here. But the last 2 games, he's got 2 striker goals, 2 goals that you would expect your centre forward to score. He's got them through his positioning. I thought he worked really hard against City. I thought he looked really fit. He was running back, defending a lot. chasing it, whatever he had to chase. I was really impressed by Antonio yesterday against Man City. He had a hard task up against that defence that hasn't conceded a goal, Diaz, Stones, but I thought he caused them a reasonable amount of problems. Stones and Diaz won't be dreading playing Antonio again, but I'd imagine they'd think, oh, glad we're not playing him next week. Put himself about. Good, solid performance from Mikel. David Moyes, on the player ratings, we always give David Moyes a mark. I'm going to give him an 8. I thought the tactics were spot on. I thought the starting 11, the team was spot on. The only thing stopping me, giving him a bit more, I thought the substitutions could have come a bit early. 83 minutes were done both subs. He didn't have to do both at once. He could have took Jared Bowen on for Antonio or for Lingard, because I thought they were both showing signs of fatigue long before we saw a substitution. But actually I give him a 9, because should Diop score that equaliser at the end there or something like that, he's probably getting a 10, because I thought he'd done everything right, really, Moyes, bar his subs being just a little bit too hesitant. But I can understand why. We were playing well, we were very much in the game. I completely understand why Moyes was a bit reluctant to change the team. He has a lot of faith in Antonio and Lingard, and Fernandez causing problems, goals. And when he did do his subs, he did switch to 4 at the back. He took Johnson off and put an attacking player on, which is something you have to say, good on you, because while you don't want to say a 2-1 result against City is a good result, as a manager, we've seen it in the past where actually we have been conservative. We have come away thinking we'll take the -1 goal difference because other teams around us will go there and probably lose by 2-3 goals. However, we're not in the same company anymore. We're not competing with Watford and Bournemouth and Aston Villa down the bottom. We're now in the top 4 on merit, so it's got to be considered a good performance, but a not too good result of that. Makes any sense. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to disappear. That's the player ratings. Usually I do it with Gonzo. We sort of have a discussion and stuff like that. We go into players in depth as I have. I say in depth. Some players a bit more in depth than that, but I try to give you a brief outlook as to what the player ratings are. So if you fancy getting involved, do check out the link in the description. But like I said, don't sign up till tomorrow, Monday, which is the 1st of March. Anyway, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in a bit.